Recording in progress.
Alright, welcome back, folks. We're gonna go right into the workout. Okay, so if you are just joining us, especially in the recording, I recommend maybe stopping the video right now and just doing some stretches for your arms, your lower back, and your legs. We will be doing a full body workout right now. But we'll just kind of roll into this. Most of the folks here live were with me just now stretching. So we're just gonna go ahead and hop into the workout. So first movement we're gonna be working on is gonna be standing. It's gonna be shoulders, arms, and legs. Okay, so for shoulders, we're gonna do lateral to front raises. Okay, for arms, we're gonna go ahead and do reverse curls. Reverse curls for arms, and then for legs, we're gonna do Cossack lunges or squats. So dumbbell here, come down, and then back and forth. So welcome, Carmen. Hello, missed you in the last class. Everyone was asking where you were.
Morning.
Good morning. All right, we're gonna go straight into the workout. So if you feel like you need a little bit of warm up, feel free to stretch right now during this first set. But the rest of us were here earlier and we were warming up and stretching. So let's go ahead and start with our shoulder, lateral, and front raises right here. We're doing 12 of these. Okay, so grabbing your dumbbells. 3, so remember 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, and 12. Put those down, rest the arms. For these, we do recover for about 30 seconds before we move on. Alright, so we'll be doing, if you have your dumbbells, great. If you have a kettlebell, any heavy object, if you have today, we could definitely benefit from using. So. Alright, 30 seconds are about to be up. Alright, now we're gonna go reverse curls. So for reverse curls, I like putting all my fingers all over the same side of the bar. I don't wrap my thumb around the bar. I put everything over the same side, and that helps me from keeping or rotating the wrists out. Okay, so I'm gonna keep those wrists straight forward, straight down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, control it, 11, and 12. Very good. Alright, so again, rest for 30 seconds. During this time, I recommend grabbing some water, just hanging out. Alright, let's grab those weights. Dumbbells are here, goblet style, wide stance, as wide as you could go. And drop the hips off to the side, come back, and drop to the other side. Keep your torso as upright as possible. We're doing 10 on each side. This is a really slow one, so just take your time. It's supposed to be slow. 6, 7, 7, 8, and 8. Alright, we're 10, 9, 9, 10, and 10. Extremely slow set. Okay, so just that lift alone takes about 90 seconds. So this is where we get our minute rest. Okay, and we're gonna go back to our shoulders, arms, and then repeat that second set. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, this is the end of week 8. So we have 2 more weeks for summer term, and then we're on a 2-week break before fall term begins. Alrighty, so. Alright, let's go ahead. Shoulder raises. 12 on each side. Ready, and begin. So lateral, front, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Ooh. Very good. Stuff. Alright, reverse curl is going to be the next one. Okay. Ready? Reverse curls. Grab your weights. Remember, we don't want to rotate the wrist. We want to keep that wrist straight. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome. We have our slow Cossack squats next. What's the weather gonna be like today? Let's check it. Oh, it's already 80? Is that true? It says, oh, 76. Oh, I think just as warm as yesterday. High of 83 today, but who knows? So yeah, regardless, stay hydrated out there. You know, do things when it's a little bit cooler. Cossack squat. Grab those dumbbells. Wide stance. And lean. 1. 1. 2. 2. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, and 10, 10. Awesome. Very good. Alrighty. Go. So, this is our 2 minutes rest. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our second set here. Alright, so next, we're gonna work on some core, some legs, and then also we're gonna go on some back, okay? So for core, what we're gonna do is gonna be farmer walks. So all we're gonna do, this one might seem a little bit too basic, but it does help if you have heavier equipment. So what I want you to do is grab your heaviest dumbbells at your side. Hopefully they're not extremely heavy, but something for resistance. And we're just gonna walk around with those dumbbells at our side. These are called farmer walks. We're just gonna walk around. And we're gonna do this for a total of 40 seconds, okay? So hopefully it fatigues you a little bit, okay? And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and do curtsy lunges. So we're here, curtsy lunges, coming across, hitting those glutes. And then for our back, we're gonna do bent over rows. So, or we could do the gorilla rows, which is a wider stance. Hinge at the back, at the hips, come up here, and down. Okay? Alright, so go ahead and grab your dumbbells and begin. We're just walking around our room 40 seconds here. You could just go back and forth. Your arms are going to begin a stretch from the weight. Eventually, you hold these long enough, you'll start fatiguing. Or if you have really heavy weights, when I had my clients and I would have them do this, I would have them hold about 30 pounds on each hand. So yeah, so it could be a little bit on the easier end if we have less than like 8 pounds in each hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Set those down. Alright, next for our curtsy lunge, you could do that with dumbbells as well. But if you're gonna have a dumbbell, hold it up here, goblet style. Okay? Alright. So we go ahead and do that. Have my dumbbell here. And we're gonna do 8 curtsy lunges on each leg. Okay, so we're here, and remember, you come across and behind, and reset. Three, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. If you feel good, go for 10, 9, 9, 10, and 10. All right, very good. Next is the gorilla row. So that's just the back row. Should be done with that one soonish. How's your Saturday looking, Carmen? Relaxing or busy? grab those weights. So
Did
remember.
you ask a question?
Yes.
Did you ask something?
I was asking
What was that?
how's your Saturday looking?
Yeah, I was doing my lymphatic drainage and got away from the first class. Sorry.
Oh, you're okay. You have a pretty relaxing weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Until now.
10, 11, and 12. All right. So we'll take our minute rest, and then we'll go back to our farmer walks. Start again in 30 seconds. Do you have a favorite lymphatic flush exercise, Carmen? That you feel like almost gets the job done just by doing it?
I think so. I feel it.
Let's see it. Let's demonstrate it.
Demonstrate what?
The exercise.
Which one?
The movement. The one that you feel you get your most bang for your buck.
No, well, I here except the jumping, whatever you call it.
Okay. It's not that. It's
I
not
love
this?
it. I like that one. I love it. But there is another one that gives you a clear explanation
Yeah.
of where the points are.
Oh, I see.
And I think it helps a lot, the combination of three I have.
It's got those dumbbells, farmer walks. So, okay, so it targets it directly. Very good. 40 seconds here, farmer walks. About 15 more seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Right, if you have both dumbbells, maybe this time we could do a curtsy lunge with both dumbbells up here. If you could have a nice safe grip on them. So again, we're doing 10 on each leg this round, okay? Ready, and begin. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, woo, 10, and 10. Rest those. And we have our bent over rows next. Let's go ahead, grab those dumbbells. We're gonna hinge at the back. Back is nice and straight. And elbows to your side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. Alright. For our third giant set, we're going to be doing it on our chair. Okay. On our chair. We're going to go ahead and do bicep Arnold press. So here. Okay. Bicep Arnold press, targeting the biceps and the shoulders. Okay. And then we did this earlier on the previous class. We're gonna do it again. Pallof push press. Hands press it against each other. Push forward and then push back. That's one that we could work on our chest without any equipment. Okay. I'm gonna take my shoes off. Like it's getting warm. And a good way to get rid of body heat is through your hands or your feet, the top of your head if that's exposed. So that's our second one. Okay, and then for our legs, what we could do here is gonna be, we're just gonna do a very basic, it's gonna be calf raises. So you're just gonna rest your dumbbells right, pretty much as far like up onto your knees until before they roll over and off. You don't want an accident to happen. And we're just gonna do heel raises, okay? If you have the dumbbells higher up on your thighs, it's not really supporting the calves at that point. There's not much leverage going on, so we want that weight closer to the knees, okay? So it's gonna be our 3 exercises, and then the last set will be on the floor, okay? All right, here we go. Bicep Arnold press over here. Curl, rotate, press. Two. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and go for 12, 10, 11, and 12. 30 seconds rest. Is all the construction at your house done, Carmen? I know that was probably a couple months ago, right?
No, thank God, everything is finished.
Nice.
Just one little part, but doesn't depend on me, and I don't have to do anything about it.
Yeah.
But everything is finished. No more projects for I don't know how long.
Congratulations.
Unless it's small, something not big.
Yeah, for sure. So what was it exactly? So Pallof push press now, folks? 10 to 12?
What did I have done?
Yeah.
The whole HVAC system replaced.
Mm-hmm.
A fence. Oh, and research of which car to buy.
Oh, what'd you end up going with?
That took me like 3 months.
Okay. What was wrong with your old car?
It was used. I didn't want it.
Yeah. What kind of car was it?
It was? Which one?
The old car you had?
I have a Toyota Camry.
Okay. Very good.
And I had it for a few years.
And
But
you sold that one?
I always had new cars. and I was not used to a used car,
Yeah.
and it was fine. And we give it away to some friends. I sold it, but
Yeah.
basically give it away.
So heel raises?
And
Yeah.
now I'm done with everything.
So you got a Camry now?
No, I got a Highlander.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very cool.
it's really cool.
You said you got it used?
New,
New. Okay.
the new one, 2026.
Watch out. Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats. I know I'm gonna be in the market for looking for a car probably in like the next 2 to 3 months as well. Maybe 3 to 4 months, but yeah.
Yeah, take your time. Don't. It was worth it for me to do all the research.
Yeah.
And of course, I used AI, ChatGPT a lot. My sons
Yeah.
too.
And relax. Yeah. So 1 minute rest. Go back to the shoulder presses.
It's
Yeah.
helpful to do all that around with.
Yeah, I think I might go with like a used car this time. Just because I used to rely on my vehicle so much. Probably from like 2015 to about 2023, 2025 actually, last year. But yeah, I don't really need one. I just need to have a vehicle. And yeah, so, and I think my car is probably worth like 5,000 if I'm lucky. I have a black, like a 2016 GMC. I got that new. And yeah, but I think the parts to replace it or to fix it is gonna run me somewhere between like 2,800 and like 3,500. So I'm just like, ugh. I don't know. Let's go
Well, I
ahead.
think it all depends on yourself.
Yeah.
Old cars, if you choose properly, are good. It depends on the individual.
Right. Yeah, it's you know, of course I love to have like the most reliable vehicle too, but I also like it has to make sense to me like financially. And so I think at this point, like, even if I don't have a car for like a month or two, I wouldn't be struggling because my you know, my job that I go to besides here in the garage, it's about 3.5 miles away, and I have 2 bicycles that I could just ride with no problems and get there in 15 minutes, compared to the 8 or 9 minutes in the car. So, but yeah, but it's you know, I like to go on road trips, and yeah, having a nice reliable car is definitely huge for that. And relax here. So we'll see. I mean, I'll keep my eyes open, but yeah, I
Take
think
your time. Take your time.
Yeah.
If you have other machines to work with,
yeah,
just
yeah,
time. Don't rush
right. So
and save as much as you can.
oh yeah, yeah, that's that, and that's where like exactly where my mindset is. That like, you know, I think it makes more sense to me to buy like a $10,000 or $8,000 used car that I could still drive around and have something super nice that might be more, because I think
Mhm.
yeah, I'm in that stage right now. Let's do our calf raises where it needs to make more sense for me to prepare financially for the future than just to please myself. And that's what I did when I bought that 2016 car. I think I bought it when I was like, I still had my student loans, and I still had a bunch of like dental bills because my mouth was messed up. I had braces around that same time. So yeah, so I think it was very irresponsible of me during that time to get a new car. And yeah, I just feel like I just gotta, you know, see what makes sense.
I believe that a car shouldn't be bought immediately in cash, you should finance it and then pay it in full as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And that should work out if the company that you finance from allows you without penalties to pay that,
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a truck lined up with one of my uncles, but I think because he bought a truck cash for like, I don't know if it was like 70,000 or something. And then he had his backup truck, and supposedly he wanted to sell it, and and we were one of the candidates to buy it, but then I think he didn't like the mileage that he was getting on this brand new truck, so now he's using his old truck a little bit more than his new one. Yeah, let's go with the Palette press. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, I still have some months to get in and out here. Alright, and for our final set, we're going to be on the floor. So if you want to get your yoga mats ready, let's go ahead and do that. Almost there. Almost to the finish line. Alright, so for this one, we're going to go ahead and do straight leg lifts. So right leg is extended and we're just lifting up and down. Okay, we're going to do 10 on each side for that. Then we're going to go ahead and do our knee assisted push-ups. Okay, and then after that, we'll rotate on our back and do our glute bridges. Okay, so we're going to be targeting our lower back, our chest, and our hamstrings and our glutes. Okay? Alright, here we go. So straight leg, right leg straight, and up and down. Try to keep that leg straight and keep your eyes looking downwards. We'll switch once you've done 10 or so. Okay, rest your arms a little bit. Remember, you can do knee assisted push-ups or traditional push-ups, but give me anywhere between 8 to 12 of those. Alright, ready? And begin. Very good. And then our last movement here is our glute bridge. So we're on our back, sit up position, hips off the ground, squeeze the glutes, and then back down. Okay? Alrighty, 3, 2, 1, and go. We're doing 10 of these. If you want to feel it a little bit more, try to keep your toes elevated. Awesome. All right. Very good. We're just going to go through a series of single exercises. So instead of repeating that last round, we'll just go through a couple new ones. All right. So right here, we're going to go tuck in the knees, stack your ankles, your knees, and we're doing clamshell. So we're going to separate at the knees, go as far as you can, and then close, open as far as you can, close. We're doing 12 of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome. We're going to switch sides. Okay. So we're going to tuck in the knees. Right here. And then separate at the knees. And close. Repeat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright. Very good. Get in a sit-up position. We're going to do sliding sit-ups. So hands on your lap. Ready? And begin. So just slide your hands towards your knees and come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2 more, and 12. All right. We're gonna do swimmers. Okay, so swimmers, remember, arms are extended, so are your legs. You're gonna lift your right arm and your left leg, and then down, completely down, and then lift left arm, right leg, and then switch, okay? So we're gonna do 6 on each side. Ready? And begin. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, and 6. Alright, we're gonna do a little cool down. Right here, we're done with the lifting strength session. So let's just go ahead and rest on our elbows. Alright, let's place our hands where our elbows were and push. Press up. Let's bring our glutes to our heels in one motion. Let's get it on our fours. And let's do our cat-cow for our last movement. So we're here looking down. Arch, inhale and arch up. Exhale, arch down. And repeat. Last two. And one more. Alrighty, folks. That should do it for today. Ooh. Any questions before we head out?
No question, Julio, todo bien, gracias.